Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Happy New Year. And I'm so glad you're here. I am Julie Brinkley, otherwise known as Motivation with Brink. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram. I would love for you to reach out to me if you have questions about these healthy recipes or a few healthy hacks that I'll give you along the way. I could think of no better way to start the new year than to come to you live cooking today, not just to share with you some really important, kind of timely, since you'd have to be hiding in a closet all by yourself if you weren't inundated with the thoughts or pressure or routine of a new year, new plan, get your health back, right? Well, I come to you today and I tell you, let's make sure that January 5th isn't the only day we do that, okay? These recipes and hacks that I come to you with, they're for every single day of the year, okay? That does not take away the fact that I am busy with people that want to jump on plan and do some amazing things in their health, which is awesome that we have this time of year to kind of recenter ourselves. But I encourage you, don't let the new year fool you. It can fade as fast as it came. So let's hang on to the things we know, and that is healthy eating is the only way to get to where you want to go. Now, don't get me wrong. You see me out there, and I know you know me, the ones that know me. I am a runner, and that can sometimes be misconstrued, thinking, oh, well, she runs. I'm not going to run like her healthy lifestyle. No. Guys, I get to run because I keep my health in check. And so by eating and learning more about nutrition, it has provided for me this great obsession and pastime of running. But without the nutrition in the food, I'd be nothing. Actually, I'd be back to that 220-pound overweight, struggling mom, overworked, depressed person. So we're not going back there. So I'm glad you're here today. I'm sorry I missed you last week. I took some time off to be with family. However, I come to you this week with a little bit of a scratch in my throat. So not only to promote my habits of health, 100 ounces of water a day, I'm also going to be drinking a little water to make sure that I don't have to pause and cough, okay? The cedar, the C word, cedar, not the other word, has gotten us all crazy in the Brinkley house. So runny nose and all the and look, I'm prepared, guys, but I'll step off camera, I promise. So today I'm going to come to you one repeat and one new twist, okay? The repeat is way back from June, and I'm not sure if you remembered or if you watched it, so we're going to do it again. Why? Because that's what the Brinkleys are having for dinner tonight. And so that's the best way for me to encourage you to take on these recipes is I eat them. My family eats them. They have to be simple, easy, okay? A few ingredients and follow my plan, right? So if you're not on a 5-in-1 plan and you have no desire to lose any weight, guess what? These recipes are still perfect for you. So we're going to start with lasagna stuffed peppers. And again, I chose this recipe specifically, not just because we're going to have it for dinner tonight, but I wanted you to have some new comfort food. The weather in Texas, although it is beautiful sunny today, but a little bit of a cold snap for us, okay? I know we were kicking and screaming this summer with the heat, but now it's cold and we're like, what? We're ready for heat again, right? But this is a warm, indulgent weeknight meal. Whatever plan you're doing, whatever method you are going about, this will be an excellent addition to get the warm comfort food of lasagna without all the guilt, okay? So, of course, I've already taken a minute to brown up 1 pound. Follow the recipe, guys. I doubled this. You don't need to double yours unless you need more servings. And I chose today a lean ground beef instead of turkey. Turkey is actually on the recipe, but between the two, ground turkey or lean ground beef, for 5-in-1 purposes, both the same. I chose a 96.4 combination, so you're good. It's what I had in the freezer, so that's what we went with today, okay? If you are a ground turkey fan, or if you're skeptical of ground turkey, this is a great way to get your ground turkey in, because the flavor is really masked by some of the things we're about to put in. I am putting a cup of a low carb marinara sauce or crushed tomatoes. Now I have to address that real quick for my 5-in-1 folks. You guys know right now, I don't know if you've searched, we have some guidelines that help us know what type of things we need to be including in our recipes. And marinara sauce or tomato sauce, of course, naturally is a sugar, okay? Tomatoes have sugar, but we have to watch no additional sugars. Also, we like to watch the carbs. Be sure you're reading labels. Do your very best to get the lowest amount of carbs per serving. Watch the other things like additional sugars and total carbs. Okay, to that, I added that cup of marinara. Also, just a little word to the wise. The most expensive brand of marinara isn't always the lowest carb. It used to be, but now you might find even store brand might have the lowest carbs depending on the serving size. But check it out. In the worst case scenario, you guys that are 5-in-1 and you're really desperate to find something that is compliant, crushed tomatoes, just simple crushed tomatoes. If you noticed here, we added a tablespoon of garlic and some Italian seasoning. You could kind of create your own flavors there too. Again, with the crushed tomatoes, we'd probably add back enough flavor that we would never miss it. So we're gonna return this to the heat for just a minute, just to kind of let those flavors blend. Also, I know I'm not surprising any of you local people, but I might do this a couple times. Anytime we open the back door to let the dogs out, 5 new friends come in. These flies are making me crazy, and I thought the freeze was gonna get them. If you have flies at your house, let me know in the chat so I won't feel so bad about swatting the flies. I'll try to not, use my fly swatter right here on camera, but I will have to swat a few. So right now, while that beef is just kind of blending with those flavors, it's already cooked through. I'm gonna show you what I did earlier today, this morning, because to get my peppers ready, I know you guys know this about me. We've made stuffed peppers before. I love using the colorful stuffed peppers in this application. You are definitely welcome to use green bell peppers. However, I do think I can tell a difference in taste. So the colored ones are typically, I hear, more ripe. Just someone told me that one time. I don't know if they knew what they were talking about. There was lots of moisture that came out, so I'm gonna just take a minute and kind of take some of that out so that it doesn't get runny. Now, the reason you don't have to do that, you could definitely stuff a raw bell pepper, but I wanted to really cook this off just a little bit because I want it to get, see if I can show you, just a little bit of crusty edges. I probably would have even taken it just a minute more, but they're going back in the oven, so it'll be fine. I really want that roasted pepper flavor. Don't want the crunch. Don't mind a crunch every now and again, but not in this application, okay? So, to that, we've got this simple, notice, those of you that have been with me before, I'm not gonna set my pan on a cutting board. Just a heads up, Santa did not bring me a melt-proof one, but I managed. So we wanna take that mixture along with another one of my favorite ways to get lean protein, and that is ricotta cheese. You want to stick with a low-fat ricotta. There's a part skim, low-fat. Both of those terms is what you want to look for when you're shopping. I'm going to take just a little bit of the meat mixture, not even a full 1/4 a cup, so that's probably 1/8 of a cup, maybe a couple tablespoons of the meat mixture in each one of these peppers. And imagine what we love about lasagna is that layered goodness, right? the layered goodness of ricotta cheese, or a cheese mixture layered with noodles and meat sauce. We're gonna do something very similar, just we're gonna not do the pasta. So we're gonna take about a tablespoon, okay? I believe it says 2 tablespoons in the recipe. Yeah. So we're gonna do this. I think this is gonna be plenty. This little measuring spoon that I have here. And we're gonna just dollop that on and kind of push it around. If you can see that, I think you can see where that is. It's hard sometimes for me to see your comments and things, but I am glad you're here. Welcome. Thanks for watching. Keep in mind, guys, again, those of you that know me, you know that I'm a weight loss coach. I wish they would just change the name, like weight loss motivator, weight loss cheerleader, health dealer, hope dealer, but they don't. We have to keep saying health coach. But I love encouraging people to change their path, much like I did. So if you know someone that would benefit from seeing these recipes, share this video with them. That would really help not just me and Sarah with Beneath the Service, who's super kind to provide this to you every single week. And if you'll notice here, I'm going back in with about another tablespoon of the meat mixture. Now you'll see here, I just left the peppers right on this pan. You could definitely take this pan and put it into a more of a casserole dish that you would want to serve it in for the evening. Because this will not be lunch, this will be our dinner, but it'll be ready to go. This and a little side salad, side Caesar salad. You could even, I would really like to see this with even some roasted or grilled asparagus. That would be great. I'm gonna finish off all of this and set that to the side. Again, my ounces were a little over. I did a full pound, which is 2 ounces more than what that recipe would have been doubled to. So I have just a smidge left. Next up, we're gonna take, I believe the recipe calls for 1/4. So I have a 1/2 cup of mozzarella. This is gonna take the second layer of cheese. The first layer of cheese was ricotta, part skim ricotta. And now we're gonna go back in. It said about a tablespoon. Okay, maybe it said 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons. I'm not gonna measure that, but I am gonna divide it evenly over each one. Guys, this is a wonderful thing. Not only, I'm always telling you about entertaining. Love having friends over for dinner. I love going to friends' houses for dinner as well. But I do love cooking for people. It's kind of my love language. In the way that I love loving on people is to feed them. I'm gonna take just a minute. Maybe it's a coffee. Gonna do my best, guys. Yum. Take a minute while I cough. We're gonna return these to an oven just to get that cheese bubbly on the top and kind of melt all the flavors together. But the reason I tell you that too, this time of year, we're all so focused on our health, right? If you are thinking, gosh, if I just meal prepped a little bit, I would do better, right? Perfect meal to meal prep. These would keep ahead 3 days, warm them up for your lean ingredient lunch. Good to go, right? Next up, let's get this done before this tickle comes back. What I wanted to bring to you today is, of course, not only the Brinkley's lunch, but I'm always coming to you with cauliflower rice, right? And I'm always showing you, I've shown you several pizza recipes with cauliflower rice. Today, we're gonna trick that up just a little bit. It's a pizza recipe, but we're gonna use spaghetti squash, and I think you're gonna love it. A little bit different flavor, a little bit different texture, okay? So also the toppings are gonna be interesting. We're gonna do a fajita pizza. So I'm gonna take a cut of meat that we wanted. Now you could use skirt steak. I hesitated on the skirt steak because when my super cute boyfriend texted me from Walmart and said that the skirt steak was just a smidge cheaper than this beautiful filet, I opted for the filet today. Okay, so you can kind of think of this as a steak pizza, but we're gonna cut it and season it just like a fajita steak. So if you had a less expensive cut of steak, even round steak cut on the bias, or that skirt steak, that would work fine. What I wanna do now is I wanna get this pan super hot. I drizzled just a smidge of garlic olive oil in the pan. I'm gonna sear this really quickly. We're not gonna cook it all the way through, because guess what? It's going back on the top of the pizza. I don't want it to be overcooked, but I want it to be just slightly cooked. So we're gonna sear that off. But next, what I wanna talk to you about is that different way to look at that pizza crust. Guys, these are small. This is that 1% change we talk about. How can you make one change? Can you ever have pizza again? Sure, you can have pizza. It need to happen. I'm probably going in and out because of Wi-Fi, but stick with me. I've already roasted this. Now I want you to see how it's kind of turned roasty. Also, whenever I take it, and see how you can push, you can just take your little pot holder when you reach into the oven, and if you can give way a little bit, that's probably done. 20-25 minutes also if you're like a timer person. I'm really bad about that, so I wasn't sure. So we're gonna scoop this out. Now the recipe calls for 1 cup of spaghetti squash per crust. I'm a little over. I was over on the first one that I did as well, because these boats not always are a serving size. So be sure you're careful. If you're 5 and 1, make sure you take the time to measure that out. Now to this, simple, easy, guys. It's already roasted, cooked up wonderful. We're gonna add in, instead of the typical Italian seasonings, thinking like pizza crust, right? We're gonna do a Mexican twist. We're gonna put a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of cumin in place of those other seasonings. And we're gonna put 1/4 of a cup of mozzarella. Again, most mozzarella is part skim. Not gonna be a trouble for you to find that one. That's gonna help kind of be a binding agent. We're also gonna put a couple tablespoons of Parmesan, just a grated Parmesan, and then a little added protein, and that's 2 tablespoons of egg beaters. If you're watching your healthy fats, definitely want to use the egg beaters that are egg white. That would work just as well. What I had in the fridge was whole egg beaters. Again, those eggs are awesome. Just when it's a whole egg, it's going to include a little bit more fat. It's not quite as lean a protein as the egg whites are. What's that mean? You can have more egg whites than you can whole eggs. So if you'll see here, I'm just kind of blending this together. Now, because this is a vegetable base, it's squash based, I'm gonna hit it with just a smidge salt and pepper. I just feel I needed to, like in me. I don't know, maybe it's just habit. Maybe that's one of the habits I need to break. This is it, guys, okay? I'm gonna set it to the side. Ooh, before I do that, I'm gonna stick this in this really too hot of a pan now. We should have no trouble searing that. I'm gonna sear that off, but let me show you what I made earlier. This is the spaghetti squash pizza crust. Now let me show you, because I did it on a silicone mat, so it shouldn't stick, but I am gonna just try to see here. This is why I love you guys, because I come to you and I risk every single week making a huge fool of myself, because it could like be a disaster, or I could like melt my pan to the cutting board. But this is not doing horrible, but you could, I should have probably scooped this halfway through baking. If you can see here, I'm able to run this all the way through. And and all the way under. Not super necessary. You can keep it right on this pan. And I could flip this over and return it to the oven. I'm not really gonna do that. I did release it, okay? Now we're not gonna add extra marinara to this. Because again, this is gonna be kind of a fajita flavored, okay? So no marinara on this one. If you do have like a green salsa or a fresh salsa at home, that would be a great addition. Again, we're gonna sear both sides of that steak and then bring it over to the cutting board, slice it up. This is going to be this is the 1 cup portion, guys. 1 cup. And this is your serving. This is huge. This paired with a salad is gonna be fabulous. So what we're gonna do, I wanna wait just a second because I really want you to see how this is gonna look. So, I haven't even said the R word, or did I say it earlier? Resolutions. I'd love to hear some of yours. If you have made some resolutions, let me know. I'm not gonna call you out, because the thing is, we don't make resolutions here in this house. We have goals. We have goals every single day, of every single month, of every single year. We're always setting goals, right? So resolutions, sometimes the hype that comes around with resolutions, like I told you before, resolutions have a tendency of fading really fast. So, switch it to goals. Let's see what you got. Okay, I'm probably gonna set off the smoke alarm, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it off. If you see here, I just gave it a quick sear on both sides. It's gonna be a beautiful cut. Oh, to that pan, actually, I'm gonna throw in my colored bell peppers, and actually, I snuck in a little jalapeno, just for a little flavor. So those are gonna roast up really quickly, okay? We're just gonna give them a little bit of a cook so that they'll not be super crunchy. Now I hope I can cut this without burning my hand. We wanna slice this super thin. Again, it's going back into a 400-degree oven to finish that cook off. If you are on 5-in-1, again, you want to measure out your portion of beef or other toppings. That's the thing about this recipe, guys. You could easily turn this into chicken. You could do chicken fajita. You know what I love about this is even if you had leftovers from from fajitas earlier in the week, this would be a great way to use up that extra. Because when I buy the fajita meat, I like to cook it all off on the Blackstone all at one time. And so what a great way to do with your extra. Okay, because of time, I did not get that all the way as cooked as I want it. So I'm gonna throw it back in the skillet. I like rare, but I don't want it super rare, and it doesn't need very long. So, perfect. I'm gonna throw these back. Oh my gosh, just that alone, guys. This is how you should be topping your pizza. This is going to be delicious. We're gonna throw this partially cooked meat right back in just for a quick sear now that I've cut it. Now to that also, I don't think I have, mozzarella cheese is on the list. Again, it takes very little just to bind it on the top, but I also feel like Monterey Jack cheese would be a great addition to this pizza. And again, if you have a green, like tomatillo salsa or verde salsa that you'd like to drizzle on top, that would be a great addition. Again, refraining from the extra tomato sauce, the veggie that you are including is your bell pepper, half a cup of bell pepper, and a full cup of your spaghetti squash. Just right, okay? I don't want to take it all the way to well done because I'm returning it to the oven. And you know, I like it to be a 400-degree oven just because I really want that cheese to get bubbly hot. I'm going to take about half that portion of beef, spread it on top of my crust. I hope that today's recipe encourages you to do some different things, but keep it simple. Keep it simple. Make some big changes with little changes. Does that make sense? You could totally make big changes in your health just with small creative additions to your nutrition, okay? I would love to help you with a plan. We're gonna take just about 2 tablespoons probably. Easy does it on the cheese. Again, my flavors are so amazing. I've got a little bit of mozzarella in the crust. I've got beautiful steak. Those peppers are gonna bring out lots of flavor, a little hit of jalapeno. So I don't need a lot of extra cheese here. So I'm just doing a little bit. Reimagine what healthy can look like for you guys. I'm gonna toss this into the oven. And I'm going to show you real quick these beauties. These are roasting up nicely. Guys, this would be it's going to be an amazing dinner. I'll have it plated up for you. And photos of both of those will be posted later. Remember, guys, if you need help with a weight loss plan, reach out to me. Find me on Facebook or right here at Beneath the Surface. Sarah will post all of these recipes, and you can find my archived recipes on her blog. You can find that at beneaththesurface.com. If you go to the 3rd page over, she has a wonderful food blog called The Crumb, and all of my recipes will be there. I can't wait to see you next week. I want to hear some progress. What are you making different? What are you changing? Where is your 1% going to come in? 1% change, a little bit every day, guys.